Let's talk about one of my favorite tools. It's going to actually help you feel like you have a handle on IEP implementation. Hey, special educators, it's Jennifer from Positively Learning. Thanks so much for tuning in. Today, we're going to be talking about IEP work bins. Have you heard of them? Are you already using them? It seems like everywhere I look, online, in Facebook groups, someone's asking, what's an IEP work bin? Or someone else is offering a helpful solution. Just put together an IEP work bin for all of your students. Now, you might be listening to this and looking at a brand new stack of IEPs, or you're listening to this mid-year and you are juggling multiple goals for so many students. IEP work bins can help simplify what each student needs and make sure they're getting the support and practice time they deserve. Today's episode, we're going to be walking through exactly what an IEP work bin is, how to set it up, what's going to go inside, and how you can use it week after week without constantly reinventing the wheel. Let's start with step one. This should come as no surprise, but I'm going to suggest starting with the data. So open up a student's IEP and look at current goals and objectives, accommodations, present levels of performance, and if there's any behavior or sensory plans. This isn't about cramming in everything. Instead, you're going to look at this and ask yourself, what are 2 to 3 skills that this student needs consistent practice with to make meaningful progress this quarter? Those 2 to 3 skills become the anchors for the IEP work bin. Now, what if you didn't write the IEP? Because let's be real, sometimes the IEP meeting just ended and the goals are accepted. And sometimes you're staring at an IEP you've just inherited. You didn't write those goals, and they might not be exactly what you would have chosen. In that case, here's what I suggest doing first. Look at each goal and figure out how it will be assessed. Not only does that help you plan for data collection, but the process of deciding what the assessment would look like often helps you better understand what the goal is even asking for, which is especially important if you're working with a goal that's a little vague or all over the place. So I like to grab those assessment tools right away and drop them into a student folder or directly into this IEP work bin we're building. For example, if there's a comprehension goal focused on identifying the main idea, you'll want to grab 5 reading passages, 1 on each page, with clear multiple choice questions. A math fluency goal, I'd print off 5 math fact pages covering that skill. So these assessment tasks aren't designed to be engaging, they are for data. Why 5? Well, you have 4 quarters, so you'll be using 1 each quarter to grab a data point showing mastery towards the goal, but you also have an extra one that you can use to collect baseline data. Once you have the baseline covered, then you can start filling in the rest of the IEP work bin with the tools and tasks that are going to support the goal's benchmark objectives. This is going to give you a solid mix of data points and skill building. Step 2, choosing the right tasks for the bin. This is where I get excited because now we get to fill the IEP work bin with the actual tools students can use to work on their goals. Now, you know your students best, but I'm going to be sharing some of my favorites. Here are my go-tos. Of course, task boxes. These are perfect for foundational skills. Students love them. They are engaging. You want to make sure they are truly at a student's independent level. I love them so much because those task boxes hold the task cards, which are what students are going to be working with, but they also keep tools, hands-on manipulatives contained in that box. They are the perfect bite-sized task for quick wins. You can also have file folder tasks. These can be amazing for maintaining fluency and generalization. They also store really easily, and they're so easy and fast to set up. You might want to consider work binders. These are great when students have multiple goals or need consistent daily routines. So you could build out sections using Velcro, adapted tasks, or laminated insert pages that you're going to use with a dry erase marker, and they can be organized based on goal area. The format matters, but it doesn't have to be fancy. I'd rather a student have 5 meaningful, reusable tools than this big Pinterest-worthy bin that's going to be hard to keep up with. Moving on to step 3, keep it simple and keep it visible, because that's the magic. This bin is not another paperwork pile. It's a living tool. So you want to keep it clearly labeled and easily accessible. It could be on a shelf, in a crate, in a drawer with the student's name on it. You want to be able to pull it during a 10-minute small group or independent work time. Or maybe you have support staff or even progress monitoring on the fly. The best bins aren't full of this new, exciting stuff. They're full of what's going to work. Step 4, add data tools. Every work bin should also include a simple way to collect data. This might be a printed checklist with dates, a binder with a few data sheets, a clipboard, or sticky notes with a running log. Doesn't have to be fancy. What matters is that it's in the bin, ready to go. It's aligned with the goals that you chose. I think of it as an assembly line. You have bins right in front of you, one for each student. You have a stack of sticky note data sheets in your hand, and you are walking down the line of boxes, tossing them in. 5 here, 5 here, 5 here. Moving ahead to step 5, refresh and revisit. Once the bin is set up, it's not done forever. Every month or so, you want to check in and ask, is the student still working on these same goals? Are the tools still aligned and are they still helpful? Do I need to adjust for growth or for new needs? Sometimes you just want to swap out a task box. Other times you might find yourself rebuilding that bin completely, especially if there's major progress, which is a great thing, or a new IEP. But you never start from scratch. Use the previous version to guide what comes next. Remember those goals we talked about at the beginning, main idea and math fluency? Now we're going to build out exactly what those IEP work bins will look like. For main idea, we have those reading passages. We have 5 of them. We've grabbed them. We know we're going to be using this for assessment. So maybe I have a binder clip on them, or they're on a clipboard, or they're in a file folder. But I've tucked them in the work bin so I can access them quickly. I also will probably have some task boxes. Maybe these are scaffolded. One might be, instead of a reading passage, just one paragraph, and a sentence is highlighted, and students are identifying if that sentence is the main idea or a key detail. There could also be some tasks with some longer passages. Some might have 2 answer choices. Some might have 3 answer choices. We're scaffolding that skill. For the math fluency goal, let's say it's addition with intent. I want to have those simple worksheets in the bin that I can grab for a quick data point. I also want to consider having some tasks that focus on prerequisite skills like counting or number identification. Maybe it's a fluency style folder with addition to 5 or addition to 10 with visual supports, or maybe some binder pages that match the goal. I can note which tasks can serve as informal checkpoints in between the formal data collection, which is usually quarterly. This way, I'm not going to be scrambling to prep. I'm always going to be tracking the small wins. These IEP work bins aren't just a cute idea or a trend. It's actually one of the most powerful tools that you can use to stay consistent with your student support. If you are feeling overwhelmed with juggling all of these moving parts, I suggest starting with just one bin. One student, one IEP, build it out, test it, and let it guide your next step. Chances are you are already trying to do so many of these moving parts. Now we're just going to be organizing it in one space. I think you're going to be amazed at how this simple system can create clarity, structure, and student progress all in one box. I'd love to hear what you think. You can always reach out at Positively Learning on Instagram or send me an email. I also have a link to a Google form. I'll put it in the show notes where you can always drop feedback, suggestions, and questions. Of course, I have to recommend the Taskbox Dollar Club and the Complete Independent Work Club. It is built for IEP work bins with hundreds of tasks that you can pick and choose from and align with your students' goals. I'll put a link in the show notes. Thanks so much for tuning in. I will catch you next time in the Special Educators Resource Room. Thanks so much for tuning in, and I'm dying to ask, what'd you think?
Be sure to hit the follow or subscribe buttons so that you never miss an episode. You can find the show notes and links for everything mentioned in this episode at positivelylearningblog.com. See you next week for more special education solutions.